Hi, family community. How are you doing? How are you? I hope you're well. I do. I know I haven't been by on Tuesday. I hope you guys still on track. Waking up, praying, praising the Lord, meditating, doing your exercises, all that's necessary to make sure that your day runs smoothly and you grow a closer walk with Christ. I hope you're getting on it. Okay? And do please go back to the old Testimony Tuesday videos if you don't see me come up for Tuesday testimonies. Please go back there and share a new testimony. Share your testimonies because someone will be strengthened and uplifted by that testimony. Okay? Please do so. And don't forget, take a moment right now, hit that like. Well, if you like this video at the end, like it. But subscribe to this channel for beautiful, wonderful, impactful stories, messages, encouragement, and sometimes book talk. Well, today I have a very special, not even guest. I will not call him a guest. He is part of this family community because he has been here on several of occasions and shared his information with us. So today, yes, we have a surprise topic today, and we will definitely share some impactful information today. So take notes. And if you're interested, check the description box. Okay? All right. So without further ado, do a little countdown for me. I will introduce 3, 2, 1, 0. My dear husband, Dr. Mark Echols, my honey. All right.
Thank you.
So welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back. Ames Lounge. Happy to be here.
And great to have you. What a pleasure, right?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So today's surprise topic is going to be one that we've definitely been discussing.
Mm-hmm.
I have definitely been interested in the past. I definitely am so happy that he can share this information and see how many of you are interested in the topic as well. He will get to share his journey and his experience and information and history behind genealogy.
Yes.
So, many moons ago, I will not tell my age. My great grandmother, she used to try to convey different parts of history, different parts of her life. And of course, you're a child back then. You're like, what is she talking about? I'm not ready for that. And then time goes by and you don't get the stories, you don't get the history. And of course, she passes on. And she lived up to 102 years old.
Yeah.
But, I regret not hearing this story. I regret not being able to take it in and really know that history behind her and behind the family that I still don't know. And you can't get that back when it goes away. So today we're going to start with Dr. Mark defining and describing what genealogy is about.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So genealogy, what it's about is actually this beautiful backdrop that
I'm going to get out your way.
Right here. This is genealogy in a nutshell. This family tree. That's what genealogy is all about. It's the study of family history in order to look at lineage to understand one's ancestors or where one comes from. That's what genealogy is. You Google it, you may see a couple of differently worded definitions, but ultimately that's what it is. Genealogy is the study of family history.
Okay, there you go. There you have it. And when we think of family history, I think of all the families that I have all over in England, the UK, the Caribbean, all over the place, and stories untold. Those stories that you never heard brought to light, or some that were there and you don't know if they were true or not. And I also think of who is the family I don't know. So Mark has been compiling information, and he's been compiling a lot of albums for himself, for me, and trying to help others. So I do want him to share. I do want him to share about what it means to him. I do want him to also share the process, how he began, what inspired him to begin the process of digging deeper and researching and compiling all this information.
Okay. So what inspired me is, I think, what really motivates everyone that gets into genealogy. I wanted to learn where I came from, where my ancestors came from. And that takes the form of different approaches. Uh, it means different things to different people, and people are looking for different things. For some people, they may have been adopted and they're trying to find out who their biological family is. Other people are trying to find out more information about direct ancestors, whether it be grandparents, whether it be great grandparents. Some people are looking for their ethnic origins, their ethnic ancestors, whether or not they have family that came from Africa, whether or not they have family that came from Asia or Europe, specific countries, maybe Italy, maybe Spain, maybe Germany. For me, my interest was in African countries, to know more about my African roots, what ethnic groups or tribes my ancestors came from. So that's what brought me into genealogy. I was not particularly interested in my direct ancestors because, as far as I thought, I had a pretty well documented family history, so I knew enough about them. So I joined a website, Ancestry.com, FamilyTreeDNA, and I took a DNA test to find out my African ancestors. And I did discover some countries and tribes where some of my ancestors came from. But what I also did was I filled out a family tree of my parents, my grandparents, maternal and paternal, my great grandparents and second great grandparents, as far as I knew. And what I discovered quickly was there was more to the story than I thought there was. I found records, census records, death certificates, marriage records of my family. I encountered census records of my parents as infants. My father as a 1-year-old in 1950. I found census records of my grandparents as toddlers. My grandmother as a 8-year-old girl. My grandfather as a 7-year-old boy. These were records and information that I had no idea existed. So it was fascinating to me, and I quickly went down a rabbit hole that I haven't climbed out of since.
Rabbit hole indeed. It's one thing when you see yourself as a baby or a little toddler, but then your grandparents and your parents and your grandparents and other, yeah, that is amazing, very amazing. So what do you see yourself, or who would you call yourself, a genealogist or a historian?
I'll also say a little bit of both.
Okay.
As I had said before, my family history was documented. So there have been family historians that have come before me, and I certainly don't want to deny those family historians their credit. I most certainly have built on the foundation that they laid. But I can say that with the technology that is currently available with DNA testing, I have been able to go further than they have gone. One thing that I quickly found, and I belong to several groups of genealogists of different cultures. I have had many discussions with others who are into genealogy, and one thing I've seen shared many times over the years is what's called ancestral mathematics. So I will read some of that here. In order to be born, you needed 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great grandparents, 16 second great grandparents, 32 third great grandparents, 64 fourth great grandparents, 128 fifth great grandparents, 256 sixth great grandparents, 512 seventh great grandparents, 1024 eighth great grandparents, and 2048 ninth great grandparents. And of course, that continues to go on with each previous generation. So, although my family history had been started by other historians, there is much more to learn about your ancestors. I guess for practical purposes, there usually is an origin for most family historians. Mine usually started with my second great grandparents, roughly around the early 1900s, late 1800s. But there was more to discover, and I've discovered that. So I would call myself both at this point, historian and a genealogist.
Okay, great. So what would you say would be your 3 largest finds, like 3 things that surprised you and your family members during your research?
There have been several surprising studies that just floored me in my journey. One of the biggest was finding an article about my second great grandfather on my mother's side of the family, who was a former slave that lived to be 106. And there was a newspaper article done on him. There was actually several newspaper articles about him when he turned 103, and when he ultimately died at 106. And I actually got a picture of it that I will show. Don't know how clear it will be, but I will show. This is a picture of him in a paper. He was from Missouri. And that was a picture that I did not know existed previously. I had never seen him before, and I didn't know an article had been done about him or a picture was taken until I started doing this research. So that was just phenomenal.
That is phenomenal.
Another finding on my father's side of the family was discovering that one of my ancestors, in this case my third great grandfather, was a soldier in the Civil War, a black Civil War soldier. You know, of course, not just being a historian in terms of genealogy, but also I am very much into history. I have several degrees. One of them is in history. And of course, I was aware that there were black Civil War soldiers and regiments, like the 54th Massachusetts, the subject of the movie Glory. Uh, One of the sons of Frederick Douglass was fought for that unit. So I was aware of black Civil War soldiers, but I had no idea that one of my direct ancestors fought in the Civil War. So that was a source of great pride and a big surprise.
As it should.
And probably the third was just finding out how much information there was out there. That in and of itself was just a big surprise for me. And again, something that was a rabbit hole that I went down and haven't come out.
Right. And you shared some of the processes, but can you share when you look back at your own process where you started from and someone said, so where do I start? I can't find who my aunt is, or I can't find who my dad is, or I would just simply like to find some history about my family. Where should they start in brief?
Right. Well, there's a couple of ways to start, and one is taking advantage of the technology that is currently available. Genealogy is not new. I don't know when it began, but I know that for Black Americans, African Americans, is the perspective that I speak from. It's been practiced for decades at the very least. Alex Haley, the author of the autobiography of Malcolm X, and also the author of Roots, that was genealogy. That was his attempt to trace his family roots back to Africa with Kunta Kinte. So that was genealogy. So that's been practiced for a long time, but now we have access to technology like DNA tests that we had not had before. So if someone does not know anything, DNA tests would be one of the first things I would recommend. Another thing I would recommend is speaking with the elders of your family, if they are still around and have access to them. So speak with your grandparents, your great-grandparents, aunts, uncles, older cousins. Speak with all of them. Our elders are just a wealth a wealth of knowledge when it comes to our family, and the one of the best resources to tap into. The stories that they have are more often than not the things that we are trying to discover. We don't have to do the hard, in some cases, seemingly impossible research if we have their stories to at least guide us. It makes it so much easier when you get those stories from them, because again, their stories are what we have to discover. And unfortunately, our elders take information with them to the grave, much like your great grandmother, as you said at the beginning. Same for my family members, my elders as well, that I did not think of to ask these questions and to get this information when I had the chance. So for those who still have that available to them, learn from our mistakes. Speak to your elders, ask these questions while you still can. Yes. So those are the two things I would recommend. Speak to your elders, take the test, fill out the tree as accurately and completely as you can.
Okay, you hear it. That's what you do when you don't know where to start. Great information. Great wealth of information. All right. So, I came across a show recently, fairly recently. I don't remember the name of it, but they were inviting people to come on this show and, talk about their family history and who was missing and who they've found. And people were coming and talking about the people in their family that they didn't know was family, and oh, I found my father, oh, I found this person. And some of them were so excited, really excited, and finding these people was a source of liberation for them. It really helped them to complete like a puzzle. And that made them very happy. And it should be wonderful if you can find family and family history and stories. But at the same token, do you think there's a disadvantage to digging up family history? Is there a disadvantage that you might find out some things that you don't necessarily want to find out?
Well, yes. Yes to both. There are advantages. One I've already mentioned. An advantage to using DNA is confirmation of a particular lineage, and also confirmation that you are the records that you have found are accurate. And I could give an example of that. One of the records that, well, actually there's several, but one of the records that I found to be very helpful in genealogy is death certificates. I have found death certificates for second great, third great grandparents, and they have identified other family members. They usually will have why the person passed away, so that's important. Medical information, family medical information. They usually will have where the person was born, where they currently live. They usually will have parents, both paternal and maternal parents. And I've found death records that had the names of the maternal parents, and including the mother's maiden name. And with that information, I've been able to trace back my family 2, 3, sometimes 4 generations beyond what was previously known. And with those discoveries, with those names, finding out new branches that had been forgotten, not disappeared because they were there, but had been forgotten from my tree, I had DNA matches to confirm that information. So DNA can provide confirmation of family lines that you belong to. And within that also could be a downside as well, because unfortunately DNA can reveal that you belong to a different family line than you may have believed. Specifically, many people are finding through taking these DNA tests that the father and the paternal line that they previously believed that they belong to, they don't belong to. In other words, they're finding out that their who they thought was their father is not their biological father, which, needless to say, is can be devastating. Can be devastating information, and life-changing information. And with these type of ancestral DNA tests, people are finding out not only is this happening with their paternal line. In some cases, they're even finding out that their mother's father is a different man than they believe. So that's something that to be aware of. Something that I warn people that do these tests about, that possibility. I don't know exactly how prevalent it is, But I do know that it at least is happening so often that a term has been created to identify and discuss this, called NPE, a non-paternal event. So that's definitely something to just be aware of the possibility. So ultimately, all I can say about that is the study of genealogy, trying to find out your ancestors and learn the truth about their experience. Unfortunately, with discovery, you can find information that you weren't prepared for. That's part of the process.
It is,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
seeking the
So
truth.
there is a disadvantage and an advantage to the digging. And did you know about MPE? I didn't. Did you? Okay, well, that's a term. All right. So yeah, definitely in digging up, and there's so many people who are digging up history these days to find out missing links, missing pieces of the puzzle. Who's this? Who's that? Where's my father? Who's my real this parent, that relative? So it's an outburst. Do you know any statistics, Mark?
Well, for the NP, like I said, I don't know if
Any
any
numbers.
statistics
Okay.
exist. That would be hard to say, but just in terms of the number of people who are taking these type of tests, if I remember correctly, the last time I looked, I believe it was like 25 million have actually taken ancestral DNA tests, again,
Wow.
for a number of reasons. So millions of people are finding out, more information than they could have in the past. Again, the improvement in technology, the existence of current technology is literally drawing millions of people into genealogy and this type of research.
Are they, or do you know, are there many more than AncestryDNA.com? Are there more facilities
There are a
that
number
carry that
of
out?
yeah, there are a number of websites out there that do this. There
Okay.
is a African ancestry. This is specific for black people,
Okay.
people from the diaspora. Very popular for Black Americans, Caribbean, Africans that have taken that test. There's Ancestry DNA. There's 23andMe, Living DNA. Just a handful off the top of my
Okay.
head. There are more. There are some that are, I believe, some companies are more widely used by depending on where you live in the world. So there's a bunch that someone could take advantage of.
Okay, so I will get you to repeat that, and I will definitely share it in the description box for anyone who would like to test. Okay, so would you say this is a hobby? Because I know you love to do this. I mean, he has compiled a whole album for me, from my paternal to my maternal, and pictures, and I helped with the captioning. But he has done this astronomical wide range of information and pictures of his own and his own family history, and it is beautiful. I just admire his diligence with doing this. So thank you for doing one for me,
You're
because
welcome.
something that I was definitely interested in the past, but I never really dug myself. I'm not a big researcher. So I really never dug into it myself. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do that for me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, obviously, for my wife, her family is my family, and the purpose is, of course, to pass something down for our children, so
Generation to come.
so they don't have to wonder the same things that I wondered. This information to be available for them here, And if they want to continue doing this research, if the technology continues to improve, which I would have to assume it will, where they could go back further than I'm able to go back now. They have this to, again, as a foundation to build on, as I built on the foundation that was left with me. So I know that my wife probably wants me to show this off. So I'll at least show at least a part. This is this at our family picture in the back. But, I have a binder.
See that? Huge.
A binder of records that I have collected. And this is actually just my paternal. That was my paternal binder.
Crazy, right?
I have a maternal one that's just as large.
And which one is this?
That's another family picture album.
Okay.
So yeah, in these we have census records, as I said, death records, property records, accompanying pictures of all ancestors who I have pictures of. That was inspired from my eldest daughter, who, in sharing my research with her, she looked at some of the death records, some of the census records, and said that now their name is on papers. She would like to know, see who they are. So I agreed with her. So have accompanying pictures, those who I have pictures for. And that's part of also my research. And I know, speaking to other genealogists, have the same mission to try to acquire every picture that you possibly can. Pictures, drawings, paintings, any type of visual record of ancestors as well. It all goes into that album.
And he's so good at doing this. I mean, I like taking pictures, but everywhere we go, he loves to take a picture. He'll take the pictures, he'll leave the album, and I'll do the captioning. And that is part of our history, taking it down to our girls and our son and to generations to come. So when you finish, compile all your information, whether it's into albums, into binders, like we both have, we have both of them. Then you look for a nice tight bin or tote to put those in to protect them from the weather and other elements. So this is something that you want to do for your family, because it's not just for you. It's going to be for your children and their children, and it's a gift to pass down, if you ask me. So this is just so mind-blowing to see it to this capacity. So Mark, is this just your hobby, or I know you helped some people before, but would you be of service to others? Are you open to consulting at this point?
I mean, I'm always open to helping anyone that asks me for help. So it is it's hard to say it's a hobby, because again, this is about our family. So and this is about creating a legacy for our children and our future descendants.
But you do enjoy
just
it.
having faith that we will have many, and this information will be appreciated. But again, I'm always willing to help others. Have had people ask me, how do you begin a family tree? How do you do this? So yes, I'm always open to help others.
Okay, great. That's wonderful. And it can be both a hobby and you can give service to others. So yes, thank you for that. And for those who are interested, we're going to ask that you leave your contact, and I will definitely try to compile all of that within the description box where you can check.
Yep, just leave it in the description.
So you can give us, okay, we'll do that. All right, well, thank you so much. I'm going to ask you any parting words you would like to say at this time before we conclude.
Just thank you again for having me on the channel. It's always a pleasure
Sure.
to speak with you.
Always a
Speak with
pleasure
you
having you.
with your family community.
Yes.
I speak with you every
We
day.
love you.
But, yeah, to speak
Yes.
with you with your family community. And I hope you enjoy this discussion. And if you want to
Definitely.
hear more, I always could speak all day, every day about genealogy. So
He
yeah,
can.
I definitely would love to come back if you want me.
Yes, he's always filling in the pieces to puzzles. So yes, if you're interested in consultation, definitely comment, reach out, or definitely check the description box if you want to do your own, and there are any places there you can start with that will be of help to you. I will definitely put it there, so check it out. So please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit it, click it, and like this video and share it with family and friends, because you might not be interested, but maybe a family or a friend might be interested in this discussion. So thank you again for joining us, Dr. Mark.
Thank you.
And thank you, family community. We love you, but know that God loves you more, okay? All right, do have a very blessed day. Thank you again.